On several occasions prior to my divorce, my mother told me she just wanted to see me have joy in my life again, like when I was younger. She prayed for joy for me. So, what did she say to me that caused me to tell her I'd never have joy in my life again? And she could just stop praying for that to happen. Well, stick around to find out.
Hey, beautiful disaster. Yeah, you. Here's the deal. You don't need to have your life together to start taking it back. You are not too messy, too broken, too old, or too late to start over. This podcast is where we turn your chaos into clarity, your heartbreak into healing, and your mess into your magic. I'm Marilee Grace, and together we're rewriting the story loudly, boldly, and unapologetically. Buckle up, gorgeous. It's your time to rise.
Hello and happy Friday. I am Marilee Grace and welcome to my podcast. Okay, so here's the deal. Today I'm going to be talking about how to get your joy back after divorce. But before I jump into that, I bet you are just a little bit curious about what my mom said to me that made me say I'd never have joy in my life again. Well, let me give you a warning. What I'm about to say might not sit well with everyone. So buckle up, gorgeous. It's time to ruffle a few feathers. Okay, so here's the deal. My mom loves her children and she loves us big. She has such a compassionate heart and she always hurts for us when we are hurting. And she could see that my joy was slowly just fading into nothingness. And I'd confide in her about how I was feeling in my marriage. And she'd tell me she just wanted me to find my joy again. And I'd tell her that, I just didn't feel like I could have joy in that marriage. And one time I told her, I'm considering divorce. And she paused. And then she said what I'd heard her say on different occasions, different circumstances in the past. You know, God hates divorce. Well, and let me tell you, the last time that she said that to me, I was ready for it. I responded, Mom, does God love me? And she said, Of course he does. I said, Does he love me more than he loves my marriage? And she responded, He loves both. I said, No, no, he can't love both. He can't love my marriage and love me, not my marriage, not like this. What you are telling me when you say that God hates divorce is that he loves my marriage no matter what, and that he loves my marriage license, a piece of paper, more than he loves me. Because at this point in my marriage, it's just a legal document. It's a legally binding me to death document. It's a piece of paper. And I'm telling you that as long as I am in this marriage, praying for me to have my joy again is useless. It can't happen. It won't be. Not like this. And let me tell you, the God that I serve does not love this marriage. He loves me. And I think he hates this marriage. And with that, I hung up. And we say boundary set. But boy, saying that to her was hard. Let me tell you, since that conversation, though, both, well, before, during, and after my divorce, I have listened to and I have read a great deal about divorce and divorce, what it says in the Bible, what the Bible says about divorce. And psst, let me tell you a secret. It isn't the same thing. A lot has been lost in the translation. But now that's not what this episode is about. I could get on my soapbox. I could go on forever. But this episode is about finding joy again after your divorce. So let me take a little bit of a cleansing breath and let's talk about joy. I don't want you to think that I just woke up the day after I left and voila, joy was abundant in my life. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't that easy. It's not that easy. It doesn't happen like that. As a matter of fact, if you do nothing in your life after you leave or after your divorce to seek out and to grow joy back into your life, it's not going to happen. It's not magical. Leaving is not magical. What's going to happen if you do nothing is you will continue to be joyless. Only difference is instead of being married and joyless, you will be divorced and joyless. And who really wants that? Nobody. We want our joy back. I had a friend once tell me um, that there's a difference between happiness and joy, that they're not the same thing. And he said, happiness, it's a feeling, it's an emotion. It comes and goes, it ebbs and flows. But joy is a state of being and it never leaves you. And he also felt that nobody can steal your joy from you. I really had to think about that one. I do agree with him in regards to happiness. Happiness is a feeling, it's a fickle feeling. It comes, it goes, happy, sad, you know, kind of like this, or it can be. And I do agree that joy is a state of being. And I don't think it ever completely leaves you. But I really had to wonder and think about, and I still to this day think about the idea that can somebody steal your joy? There's times when I say absolutely yes. And then there's times when I think, do we kind of give it away? I'm not for sure on that one. I still debate myself on that continuously, but I do know that joy is a state of being. And I do believe that no matter how bad things get, there's always going to be a little sliver of joy that is buried deep. It's hidden. You've protected it for so long, and it's just waiting for you to nurture it back to life. It's waiting to become abundant again. But how do you grow that sliver of joy into abundant, radiant joy again? It's going to take some intentional focus. It's going to take some time. Like I said, it's not like the day after you leave, voila, joy. It takes working on becoming your most authentic self, the person that you were always meant to be before all of that other crud and stuff happened to you in your high conflict personality relationship. And it's going to take hard work, but it can return to you and it can be abundant. Rediscovering joy, it begins as a glimmer. Now, what is a glimmer? That's not something that I made up. It's actually a term that was created by Deb Dana, and she coined the term glimmer, and she defines it as those small, fleeting moments in time when you feel safe, you feel calm, you feel protected. Glimmers are those tiny moments of goodness that accumulate and reinforce your state of well being. And they're the exact opposite of those trauma inducing triggers that we've talked about in the past episodes. Okay, but what is a glimmer? Give me an example. Well, a glimmer can be a small thing. It's a smile from a stranger. It's watching a beautiful sunset, listening to a bird singing out in your yard. It's a sincere compliment or walking barefoot out in the yard, enjoying a warm cup of coffee. It can be snuggling with your pet, your kids, your grandkids. It's listening to and smelling the soft rain outside. Now, these are small things, but they are powerful moments that help to reduce stress, and they enhance the emotional regulation of your body, and they boost your mental well being. What happens when you start taking note of those glimmers in your day? When you are on a glimmer hunt, well, glimmers multiply, or so it seems. But what actually is happening is you're making yourself more in tune to glimmers. You're seeking them out, you're wanting to find them. And you have just learned about them. So, guess what? You're going to start looking for them, and they're just going to appear. And you're going to notice them more and more. And it is as if they multiply, but it's just your sense of awareness. They're everywhere. And this, for those of you who like to get a little bit on the nerdy side, does have a name, this phenomenon. It's called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, or frequency illusion. Now, that's as nerdy as we're going to get today. Just so you know, though, once you start to note those glimmers, they're going to appear everywhere in your life. And that's a great thing for you. It really is, because it is also going to do some wonderful healing to your nervous system. So now it's only natural that when you are out there gathering glimmers throughout your day, you are going to begin to change. You're going to begin to start to feel better, and you're going to start to grow your inner sparkle. Inner sparkle. Okay, Marilee, where are you coming up with these terms? Well, what is inner sparkle? It's something that's unique to each of us, and it begins to happen when we start to reconnect with our joy, our passion, our authentic self. Sparkle is fostered and it grows intentionally, slowly. It's when we are intentionally slowing down, when we are taking note, when we are practicing self care, and when we are engaging in creative and playful activities. That's when we start to sparkle. You'll know that you have found it when you start to flow through your life, when things are easily connecting. You're easily connecting with people, and you're attracting positive things into your life, and you're noticing the positive rather than the negative. And your joy begins to fill up all the places in your heart, your mind, your soul that were once devastated and empty and nearly destroyed by that high conflict personality relationship that you left. And I want to tell you, this is when people are going to start coming up to you, and they're going to say, "Hey, girl, what are you doing? You seem to be aging backwards." And they're noticing that lightness in your spirit, that sparkle in your eyes. They're noticing that you have a glow to your skin and your hair and your face. And you, gorgeous, have entered your glow up era. It starts with glimmers, and they literally start to breathe the life back into you. Now, in today's description of this episode, I'm going to drop a link to my Glimmer Sparkle Glow Up and Joy worksheet. You're going to be able to download that, and you can use it to start to notice those glimmers that are all around you. And so you can grow from a glimmer to a sparkle. You can get that glow up, and you can experience joy and find that lost joy that's hidden deep inside of you. Before I finish up today, I do want to do a little bit of a pause, and I want to take a moment to share and explain something with you that's been going on with me. Now, if you have been listening to my podcast since January, I did start it on January 9th. You may have noticed that I just kind of dropped off into nowhere for about 6 weeks. You noticed that? You're not wrong. I did. I had began the process of planning for this podcast. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying podcast today. Anyway, I had started planning for this well before January, and I had picked out the date for the launch to be January 9th. I had some big plans as to how I was going to launch this podcast. But, sometimes life happens. And my father had been traveling through some very serious medical issues and medical conditions, and his condition was deteriorating, and it kind of took some of my focus. And he passed away on January 6th, 3 days before I launched this podcast. Now, I'm not telling you this so that in the comments you go, oh, girl, I'm so sorry. That's not the intent of this. The intent is to tell you I had huge intentions on how I was going to run this podcast and when episodes were going to drop, and that I was going to be producing things in advance. And then life happened and it kind of derailed me a little bit. I am the only child that is available to support my mom, help my mom out, not financially support her or anything, but, emotionally support her after the loss of my dad. They were married for 65 years. And so it's meant trips back 5 hours to be with her, to help her with things or when she's needed. And then she had a little bit of a medical emergency herself mid-February. And that's when I told my editor, I need to take a break. I can't pull myself any other directions. Right now, my focus needs to be my mom. And when I get back, I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to start new. I'm going to pick up where I left off. And that's what I'm doing. I spent time with my mom. She's doing well. So if you're wondering about that, she's doing well. Things are going better in life. And I'm ready to pick up where I left off, and I'm ready to hit the ground running, and I'm excited to be back. I was so excited to do this particular episode because I do really think that you do get a glow up. You age backwards, and it's so powerful and it's very fun when it happens. So I was excited to make this episode. I'm excited for the episodes to come. I have a renewed spirit, and I hope you are happy that I'm back as well. Now, what's going to go on next week? Next week, I'm going to be talking about grounding techniques, and these are so useful for you to help you to create emotional stability. Okay. It's going to be so important to understand how to use grounding techniques and to use the ones that really resonate well with you so that you can experience growth and healing, and you can manage some of those big emotions when they hit you. You're not going to want to miss it. But until next week, just remember, you're not meant to do this alone. And together, we will continue to rise.
Hey, beautiful. Thank you for spending time with me today. And congratulations for showing up for yourself. If today's episode was helpful, share it with a friend and let me know in the comments what resonated most. Your feedback helps me create content that truly matters as we grow this community together. If you haven't already, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach more women who need this space. Okay, so here's the deal. You can find me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I'll meet you back here next Friday. Until then, remember, you belong here. It's time to rise.